Welcome to Shadows of Truth, where we uncover the real stories behind the world's greatest mysteries. Today, we're diving into one of the most puzzling events in history, the Mary Celeste. Picture this, it's 1872, and a ship is drifting silently in the vast Atlantic Ocean. The sails are raised, the cargo is untouched, food sits cold on the table, but every single person on board has vanished. No signs of a struggle, no damage to the hull, nothing missing. What could have happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste? Was it a sudden attack by pirates, a freak storm, or something even more bizarre? This isn't a ghost story from a book, it's a real event that's puzzled historians for over a century. Let's step into the shadows of this mystery and piece together the truth, using only the facts we know. The story begins on November 7, 1872, when the Mary Celeste left New York Harbor, bound for Genoa, Italy. It was a small brigantine, a two-masted ship, loaded with 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol, a flammable and risky cargo if not handled with care. The man in charge was Captain Benjamin Briggs, a 37-year-old American sailor known for his discipline and skill. He'd sailed for years, commanding ships across stormy seas, and had a spotless record. With him on this journey were his wife, Sarah Briggs, a kind and quiet woman, and their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia, a little girl with big curious eyes. 7 crew members joined them, hard-working sailors from America and Europe, each chosen by Briggs for their reliability. They weren't strangers or troublemakers, they were a tight-knit team setting out on what should have been a routine trip. The Mary Celeste sailed smoothly for weeks. The last time anyone heard from them was on November 25, when Briggs wrote in the ship's logbook. He noted their position near the Azores, a group of small islands in the Atlantic, about 1,000 miles west of Portugal. The weather was calm, the sea was steady, and the ship was on course. Everything seemed fine, until it wasn't. For 10 days, there was nothing, no signals, no sightings, just silence. Then, on December 5, 1872, the Dei Grazia, another merchant ship, spotted something odd. About 400 miles east of the Azores, Captain David Morehouse saw the Mary Celeste drifting aimlessly. Morehouse knew Briggs, they'd met before in New York, and he could tell something was wrong. The ship's movements were sloppy, like no one was at the helm. He hailed the ship, but no one answered. Worried, he sent 3 of his men to investigate. What they found was chilling. The Mary Celeste wasn't sinking or destroyed, it was in decent shape. Some sails were torn, and the hatch was open, but the hull was solid. Below deck, the cargo of alcohol barrels sat quietly, undisturbed. The crew's belongings were scattered around, coats hanging on hooks, tobacco pipes on tables, boots by the bunks. In the captain's cabin, a half-finished meal sat on the table, forks still resting on plates. Sarah's sewing kit was open, a needle threaded as if she'd just stepped away. Even little Sophia's toys were there, a wooden doll lying on the floor. The logbook lay open to November 25, with Briggs' neat handwriting marking their last known position. But the lifeboat was missing, and so was every soul on board. When the Dei Grazia crew reported this, investigators swarmed the ship. They measured 3 feet of water in the hold, not a lot, just enough to wet the floors. One of the pumps was broken, but it wasn't a crisis. The ship's compass was smashed, though that could have happened after they left. There were no bullet holes, no bloodstains, no signs of a fight. The alcohol barrels, worth a fortune, were still there, so pirates didn't make sense. So why would Briggs, a careful and experienced captain, abandon a ship that wasn't sinking? Let's dig deeper into the facts. The Mary Celeste wasn't old or falling apart. It was built in 1861 and refitted before this trip. Weather logs from November 1872 show no storms big enough to threaten a ship near the Azores. The cargo was dangerous, yes. Industrial alcohol can leak fumes that might explode if sparked. Some think Briggs smelled something odd and feared a fire. He could have ordered everyone into the lifeboat as a precaution, planning to wait it out. But later tests showed only 9 barrels had leaked, too little to cause a real threat. Then there's the rope. A long line was found dragging behind the ship, frayed at the end. Did they tie the lifeboat to the Mary Celeste, only to cut it loose, or have it snap, in a panic? If so, they'd be stranded in the Atlantic with no food, no water, just a tiny boat against endless waves. Briggs wasn't reckless. He'd sailed with his family before and always kept them safe. So what pushed him to make such a drastic choice? Could it have been a mistake, a moment of fear that cost 11 lives? After its discovery, the Mary Celeste was towed to Gibraltar for an official inquiry. The court couldn't pin down a cause, no evidence of mutiny, no proof of foul play. The ship was sold off and sailed again under new owners, but its reputation stuck. People called it cursed, a ghost ship drifting through tales. Yet the reality is more grounded. Something happened that day, something real, and the answer slipped away with the crew. So what really happened to the Mary Celeste? Let's explore the theories, all based on facts, no wild guesses. First, the alcohol fumes idea. Industrial alcohol can release vapors, and if Briggs thought an explosion was coming, he might have evacuated fast. But if the barrels were mostly sealed, why didn't they come back when the danger passed? Another theory points to a waterspout, a spinning column of wind and water, like a tornado over the sea. It's rare, but it could have hit the ship, torn the sails, and scared the crew into the lifeboat without sinking the hull. Weather records don't mention one, though, so it's a stretch. A simpler idea is human error. Maybe Briggs saw the water in the hold. 3 feet isn't much, but with a broken pump, it might have looked worse. Did he think the ship was doomed and order everyone out, only to realize too late it wasn't sinking? Or perhaps the rope snapped, separating them from safety. The Atlantic doesn't forgive mistakes. A small boat with 11 people wouldn't survive long without supplies. Here's what we know for sure. On December 5, 1872, the Mary Celeste was found empty, but seaworthy. 11 people, men, a woman, a child, disappeared without a trace. No bodies washed ashore, no lifeboat surfaced. History's left us with questions, not answers, and that's what keeps this story alive. It's not about ghosts or monsters, it's about real people facing something we can't explain. What do you think happened that day? Was it a captain's misjudgment, a freak of nature, or something else? Drop your thoughts in the comments, we'd love to hear them. If you enjoyed peeling back this mystery, hit subscribe for more real stories on Shadows of Truth. Next time, we'll uncover another shadow from the past. Until then, keep chasing the truth.